Congratulations, US CLIVAR. 20 years of coordinating and leading the US efforts in climate variability and predictability research efforts.
20 years of CLIVAR. Seems like only yesterday that we were trying to create a follow-on program for the World Ocean Circulation Experiment. The budget wedge for a program focused on the ocean's role in climate had been created in the late 1980s and the early 1990s. CLIVAR filled the bill for the US agencies.
In the US, we took a bit of a different approach to those legacy program, TOGA and WOS, and developed the US CLIVAR program in a more bottoms-up fashion and less structured way.
In hindsight, when I think about what CLIVAR might have achieved, I think we brought together synergistically the foundational knowledge that can be attained by the communities working together in the Bohr part of Pascal's quadrant, as well as in the Edison part of pure applied research. And my aspiration and hope for CLIVAR would be that in future we would continue to strive to work towards achieving goals in Pascal's quadrant, namely in the use-inspired research part, so that the results of our knowledge that we generate may be used by society at large for robust decision making.
So US CLIVAR has benefited from 20 years of interagency participation. Every month, agency managers getting around the table, talking about their common interest, and putting investment and money into the community efforts that advance the science. That's remarkable, and I think among US climate programs, ours really does benefit by this long-standing commitment among our agency funders.
The goals of international CLIVAR can only be achieved through the collaboration of scientists from all over the world. In this regard, the participation of US CLIVAR has been fundamental to engage US scientists with climate researchers from other parts of the world. At CLIVAR, we celebrate the achievements of US CLIVAR and look forward to more successful collaboration in the future.
US CLIVAR has been very valuable for getting climate scientists from different branches of the science into the same room. For example, we've had observationalists, modelers, process study people, GCM types, all sitting in the same room together at US CLIVAR summits. And I think it helps us see where our tiny piece of the big climate puzzle fits together. It leads to new connections, helps us understand a problem which can't be understood just from one point of view, but where you need multiple perspectives to get the whole picture.
One of the biggest achievements of US CLIVAR over the past 2 decades has been in bringing together a vibrant group of scientists from diverse backgrounds to discuss the future of US climate science.
US CLIVAR has provided the premier forum to discuss and exchange ocean and climate science in the US, and a platform to link the international and national efforts in climate research. For me personally, it also served as a means to entrain and introduce a rich portfolio of early career scientists to the climate community, fostering the career and the diversity. In the future, I see US CLIVAR taking more leadership in the understanding of ecological and societal impacts of climate on regional and coastal systems. And I think this is an important void that CLIVAR can fill right now.
One of the greatest accomplishments of US CLIVAR during its first 20 years is the way that it's brought together different communities within the climate sciences to address problems of common interest. We do so through workshops, through working groups, a variety of activities where we get investment from different programs and funding to make these things happen. We work hard at breaking down the interdisciplinary divides that commonly occur in the sciences. And so we try to incubate efforts that bring together carbon cycle, paleo, land surface processes, and those working in the Arctic and on ice and cryosphere, together with the ocean's role in climate to really tackle the climate system as a whole. That makes all the difference.
US CLIVAR has played a key role in coordinating global observational programs such as Argo, GoShip, the Tropical Mold Buoy Array, and others. They've also helped coordinate climate process teams who work with climate modeling centers to improve present and future climate models.
I think CLIVAR, US CLIVAR has a valuable synthesis component that is not always present in our often very focused sciences.
I mean, one of the benefits that CLIVAR really has too is bringing together groups to work on a common issue. So like the climate process teams, I think we've really made some significant advances, particularly in the modeling side, from bringing very diverse groups of people together to really work on a common framework. How do we advance this question of mixed layer dynamics? Or how do we advance some of the issues that we know exist in our models coming from different modeling groups? So rather than focused on one model, but bringing together a whole ensemble of people. So really getting at the mechanisms. And I think that's moved the field forward.
One of the biggest things that I think CLIVAR does for the scientific community is bringing the community together to discuss new and exciting priorities in climate research. CLIVAR does that in a number of ways, but I think one of the ways that's most visible for me is in the working groups, where there's an opportunity for people in our field to convene around a topic that's of interest to the members, and that actually makes a lot of progress in pushing our field in ways that individually might not occur.
In conclusion, I think the US CLIVAR program and international CLIVAR, for that matter, have been very vibrant and creative program, and it's been gratifying to see a lot of young scientists taking over leadership role on their elders in the last 5 to 10 years.
I've had the honor to serve on US CLIVAR panels very early on in my career. Serving on a US CLIVAR panel is a very prestigious opportunity for early career scientists in participating in the dialogue between scientists at all stages in their career and program managers from various funding agencies in discussing the future of US climate science.
At larger ocean sciences meeting or fall AGU meetings or AMS meetings, the community is so large that you can't really have these discussions about topics that are related to climate variability and predictability because the community is just too large. Whereas when we have a CLIVAR workshop, we're bringing together a really diverse community with atmospheric scientists, land surface scientists, ocean scientists, all coming together to discuss how those processes interact. And it's much harder to do that at a really large international meeting that's kind of one of our more general science meetings. So CLIVAR provides this really great format for bringing together those interdisciplinary groups in a size that we can really get to know each other and really talk.
Personally, CLIVAR has meant a lot to me. So very early on, I was involved in the phenomenon observations and synthesis panel as an early career scientist. And that was a big opportunity for me to be exposed to other researchers in the field, to get to contribute to national efforts at understanding our science, and to see where the science that I was doing could fit into this larger, the larger whole. The other thing that it did for me is it provided opportunities to stretch beyond my kind of traditional research and start thinking of new areas and new ideas. As an early career scientist, it was just an awesome opportunity for me to start interacting with people who eventually would become colleagues, who I would write proposals with, and to think about again just these directions these new directions that I could move as a researcher. So CLIVAR has a very special, place for me in that sense, and it was formative in my early career.
My fondest memories of US CLIVAR will always be about the people of US CLIVAR. Whether it's the distinguished and colorful scientists we had as leaders and participants, or it's the new faces at a working group meeting that's invited hundreds of people, many of whom are new to US CLIVAR and asking lots of questions about the role of US CLIVAR and how to get involved.
I think CLIVAR for me has also been like a family. I come to these meetings and I meet friends, I meet other people that I haven't met before, I brainstorm about fun idea that one can do in science. And so once I will rotate off all these panels, the thing that I will miss the most is the personal interaction, not the science.
I also have been involved in US CLIVAR in the last few years as a member of the Scientific Steering Committee, and it's been great for me to come back on the panel after a few years away and see how the larger field has changed. And also, one thing that's been very satisfying to me is to see how many more women there are involved in US CLIVAR these days. So US CLIVAR has always made a great effort to encourage diversity in terms of the geographical locations where the members come from, the types of institutions that people are working at, including early career scientists to a great extent, and encouraging gender and ethnic diversity. So I think US CLIVAR's really being a role model in this aspect.
In the past, the CLIVAR community has interacted with Page's CLIVAR, namely the paleoclimate community, and there's also been interactions with the Arctic community on issues of Arctic climate interest. It's my hope that in future such interactions will be further strengthened so that we will have improved understanding of the role of ice sheets, land ice, sea ice in the climate system. Thus, we would go beyond just the coupled atmosphere ocean and into a more fully integrated understanding of the Earth system at large.
Over the last couple of years, since we issued our recent science plan, we have taken a look at where we've made progress and where we might need to have a little more emphasis. And what's come from that review has been an understanding that we need to emphasize uncertainty in information, uncertainty in observations, in our modeling products, and in predictions, and communicating that effectively so that end users can make use of the climate information we're trying to provide.
I hope CLIVAR survives the turbulent and toxic political environment of recent years. CLIVAR scientists and projects are key to maintaining and evolving ocean and climate observing systems.
I think CLIVAR should be around in 20 years. I think CLIVAR should be prepared to be nimble with as the science develops and even as the political climate develops and its favorability towards science. But I think it's an essential role provided by CLIVAR to be that umbrella organization across a lot of different components of our discipline.
I think CLIVAR plays an important role in our community and continues to play an important role in identifying new directions that we should be coordinating efforts on, and even beyond coordinating efforts, thinking about new directions that our field may be moving, and identifying ways to provide a rudder for those new directions.
The opportunities for US CLIVAR in the future, I think, are very bright. The US continues to need coordination and leadership from a body like US CLIVAR to help push things along, particularly in these days when we're looking at differing perspectives from society about climate. It's incumbent upon groups like US CLIVAR to continue to push the important messages about the role of climate in our lives and about how climate research can help those in society. So my advice to US CLIVAR is keep going, keep embracing change as an element to be effective, keep working those agency relationships, and best of success in the next 20 years.
Happy anniversary, US CLIVAR. So the only reason I'm sitting here is for all of you who have done this when I've asked you to. But all joking aside, I believe one of the biggest achievements of US CLIVAR over the past 20 years is the people. From our consistent champions that are the agency sponsors, to every scientist who volunteers their time and is dedicated to working together. You all are what make the US CLIVAR program exceptional. And I hope that the enthusiasm, the momentum, and the devotion to the field of climate science and trying to answer those tough questions will continue for at least another 20 years. And really, what I just want to say to everyone in the US CLIVAR community is thank you.
Happy birthday, US CLIVAR!
That's okay. That's okay. The first part was good.
I know. It's
Oh, wait, got it.
My favorite thing about CLIVAR is the snacks.
Should have written these on.
I don't follow Twitter because I think that if Twitter were removed from the world, life would be 40% better. But
I'm really excited about the $100 million commitment of the IAG to CLIVAR in the coming years. You can have that one.
Yeah.